Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast with your hosts, Justin and BJ. We talk about 3-day-old news, sports, and whatever else we want to talk about. You, the MVP listener, you listen in, you laugh, you might cry. We cry sometimes. You can respond on the socials to our comments, or you can email us and let us know about our takes, what you think of them. But just wait, sleep on it. Make sure it's been 3 days before you let us know. So we're back for another episode number 42. Is that right, Justin?
Yeah.
42.
I think 42 comes after 41.
It does, yeah. And
yeah, I think that's the number we landed on.
We've got some, there's numbers are becoming a part of my daily. So we got a new exciting announcement coming. I haven't even told Justin about this, so it'll be down the road a little bit, but we're almost ready to launch. So we're good. It has to do with numbers, so we'll be good there. But
like anyway, the count on Sesame Street,
sort of, yeah. Okay. Cookie Monster.
Oh, was that Cookie Monster or Count?
No.
Well, I think
Count.
that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like cookies. So,
what's your favorite cookie?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Peanut butter.
Yeah. Right.
So we're at episode 42. We've had this second season we've been on has been really, really fun, and we've brought some great people that have crossed our paths over the years, and for various reasons and various things. And last week we had a great show with Cara, and I really enjoyed that. And our guest tonight is somebody that we've given a shout out to on the show, and he's somebody that I just absolutely love and adore, and I'm so thankful for his involvement in my life. A role model, a mentor. See, I'm going to cry already. Just somebody who's been like a father to me. I had a great father. I have a great father, but this man is incredible. And so we have joining us tonight Phil Gonzalez from the great place of Pueblo, Colorado. Yeah. Phil, how are you?
I'm well. I'm doing pretty good, actually.
Good. Man, it's so good. Everybody else can't see our face, and that's good for my sake, but we can see you. You look good. Man, it's good to see you for sure. So thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks Phil for joining us. I was talking to BJ, and I was talking a little bit before we started. I think this is the first interview, besides maybe one person, but I recently crossed paths with that interview, that I haven't ever crossed paths with somebody in BJ's life or vice versa. So that's it's really cool. I'm really interested to hear your story and hear things about you, and maybe hear some stories about BJ being good or bad at basketball. I don't know yet, or being good or bad in youth groups. Who knows? We'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
So welcome.
All right. Appreciate it, Justin. I've heard a lot about you, and it's good to finally see you and get to just get a feel for your spirit.
Yeah, it comes out on the screen. Sometimes you want to turn it off, but it's okay. It's good to always put a face to a voice that you hear. And if you're listening to the podcast, we don't show our faces, and so I can understand where you're coming from on that. So,
well, it's a joy for those of you that don't know. Phil was our youth leader when we were in Pueblo, and Phil, I don't want to age you, but I'm going to. How old were you when we came to Pueblo and you were dealing with the Thelander clan?
I can't tell you. I'm close to 70 now, so when I couldn't tell you, dude.
Yeah. I think I remember when we were there, we threw you a 40th birthday party. Does that sound about right?
Do they do the old over the hill birthday parties? Was that like an over the hill birthday party?
I don't think they pushed the over the hill that much.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember the 40.
Yeah.
Now that you bring it up, so
I just remember my parents when they turned 40, it was over the hill. It was like life was going to be over because you're on the backside of the hill. And then now they don't even do those anymore. I don't know anybody who does over the hill parties.
Somebody got offended, probably.
Oh, well.
yeah.
Or maybe
The guy probably fell down the hill.
maybe 50 or 60 is the new 40. I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of hills,
Oh, jeez.
oh man, I was telling Justin today, because Justin and I we talk in some form or fashion almost every day, and he asked me, he goes, just give me some background, give me some things that I should know. And so I kind of just told him your height and weight and your eye color and that kind of thing, you know. But I said, if we can get Phil laughing, the rest of the podcast won't even matter. It'll be so much fun. So, but yeah, we talked about Phil, you came out to Denver and saw me. Oh, it's been a little while now, but I came out to Denver for a conference, and you came and spent a few hours with me. And man, I think we talked about it. I don't even remember now, but it had been so long since we'd seen each other. But I just loved how we were able just to pick up, like we just picked up right where we left off. And I love that about our relationship for sure. But I just want to say thanks for joining us. When I asked you to be on, you said, I don't know what I'm going to bring. And really, if you've listened and you know, this is about relationship, and we bring on our friends, we bring on new people, but you are somebody that when it crossed my mind, I thought, I got to ask him, I got to get him on here. So thanks for joining us. I can't wait to share some stories and let Justin listen in to some of those fun times we had for sure. But
So I get to ask the hard-hitting questions.
Okay.
Not gonna offend me or BJ, but how many episodes have you listened to? Are you a 5-episode or a 5-hour episode guy?
I would say probably 5. I started back listening to the first ones. I remember hearing Rod and Mary come on, and then went through that, and then some others, and then recently I've been listening to the more recent ones. You've had some pretty good guests, and as I was listening to them and then start thinking about the relationships, I can remember your dad when he was pastor down there in Pueblo. A guy by the name of Harold passed away, and somehow that really affected your dad. And he was, from that moment on, it seemed like he was really pushing relationships and how important those were. And at the time, I didn't really grasp it, you know. We were in the relationships we were in, but I didn't think of it as a relationship. It was just, dude, I'm living with the person. You know what I mean? I'm going day in and day out with this person, and I wasn't really thinking of the relationship and working on it and building on it. But it's interesting to see how the Lord has put different people in your guys' life and how that's affected you, and pretty much blessed and encouraged and strengthened. And when you needed somebody, they were there. And it's just pretty crazy how the Lord works, man.
yeah.
Definitely, you know, that we have those moments where we get tested, and then you get back in that corner. You know who's in your corner with you, and helps you get out of that. And then, you know, even some of those that you can count on anytime, any call. You know, anytime you need something, those are important people in your life, and it's nice to recognize those right away sometimes. So, or sometimes look back, you're like, dang it, that's why that person was in my life, and why we've created this bond, and why we still have this bond. So,
Well, it's fitting that you say that too, because I think I've told my kids this throughout their life, and I was told this, and I mean, especially being a pastor's kid and moving around as much as I did, and people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. That's what I've always said. And I'm thankful to be looking at two guys that have been those lifetime friends, those lifetime relationships that will never go away. And I don't know if you know this, Phil. You said you're almost 70 years old. You realize you're not allowed to die, right? That's just not going to happen.
Well, I've been thinking about what you said up in Denver, and I'm trying to live up to that, dude. Not that I want that to happen, but I want to be able to do what you asked me to do.
Yeah. 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 Then so yeah, you gotta keep on going. So
I'm trying. I got over the cancer thing, so I'm headed up. So I'm all
that's
right.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
You had emailed me. This is the thing, Justin. Phil had a way of timing, and there's just you go so long without talking to somebody or hearing from them, and then all of a sudden I'd get an email from Phil, or I'd get a letter in the mail, and there was a time as you were going through the cancer, you just thought, I think my time's almost up, and I'm just like, nope.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You can't be right about that one. So
Phil, how open are you about your cancer journey? Like, how long ago was it, at least?
I'm still going through treatment. I'm supposed to go back up, not treatment, but a checkup next month, actually.
Okay.
And so it's been relatively well. I went in for operation a day before my birthday, and then so it's been a while. But it's been good to see how the Lord has put different people in my journey there, so I can remain healthy. Yeah, God is good.
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
100%, man.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Yeah. Well, no, we'll be thinking about you. And the people who listen to the podcast, we'll be thinking about your journey and keeping you healthy, man. So
Appreciate it, dude.
Do you still have that God can?
Unfortunately, I when I cleaned out my office, as I was kind of putting it away, it's kind of like, dude, I didn't even open it up either, though. I held it until the very end, dude.
Yeah.
What was the God can?
Yeah, so Phil was, to give a little backstory, I felt called to the ministry when I was 13 years old, and it was while we were in Pueblo, and Phil, as our youth leader, he just took me under his wings. He just let me explore that call in every way, and I would tell people even after the fact. I mean, Phil started allowing me to help lead youth group at 13 years old, and I don't know what he was thinking, but he believed in me from the get go, and he empowered me, and he let me go. And I can't remember, that was like at a retreat, or we were camping or something, weren't we?
We were camping down at Mike's place.
Yeah. So we went on this camping trip as a youth group, and he had me do the devotional one of the mornings or evenings that we were there, and it was Matthew 6:30. Justin, your verse is 30.
Yeah, Matthew 6:34.
34. I think it's right before that. It's about worry.
Yeah,
and
about tomorrow, for tomorrow has its own worries of its own.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I made up this little object lesson. My mom helped me with it, actually, and we took cans and we wrapped them with contact paper, and my mom made these little signs that said God can, and we talked about, when you're worrying about something, just write it down, throw it in the God can, and let God handle it. God can handle it. And Phil kept that in his office all these years, until he just got rid of it. But yeah, I'd be curious to know what some of those worries were inside that can, man.
I assume it was my kids and the teen group.
Yeah,
Those that were there. Um, yeah, I'm almost positive it was down that line.
for sure, for sure. There were so many. Phil also, as he continued to pour into me, what were you thinking by asking me to come preach retreat when I was like 16 years old, man?
It had to be the Holy Spirit because I remember, man.
It
But
was,
that was a good retreat, though, dude.
yeah, yeah. We had a good time for sure.
Yeah, pretty much every retreat it was an excellent time, both
Yeah.
spiritually and other times, and just goofing around and whatever else. We had some excellent times there.
Tell us your point of view when it came to retreat. So just so people that are listening know, like Justin, you and I talk about camp and teen camp and those kind of events as we would travel to and go. There's a spiritual component, a spiritual high, like Phil's saying about retreat. For us in Pueblo, it was winter retreat. That was our big thing every year. But one of the things when we were goofing around at retreat was somehow we would always end up in a dog pile. My question is this, like Phil would usually instigate the dog pile, but here's the thing about Phil that you got to know is like, tell us, Phil, what your point of view was when it came to creating a dog pile. What was your point of view?
Just getting the individual on the bottom felt like he was loved, actually, that people would want to just partake in just covering him up. As we were talking, you had called, and I was thinking about your buddy Ethan. He couldn't go that one time, and we were in the gym. There was a chunk of kids, man. There was a chunk of kids, and it's kind of like, dude, I'm really sad you can't go. I wish you could go. So I got him down, but as I was pushing him down on the gym floor, you remember this, dude?
Yeah.
I go dog pile, and so I got him down on the bottom, and I don't know, laid on top of him, but I kind of held my elbows up so there wasn't a whole lot of pressure on the guy. And I could feel these guys coming, and it seemed like some guys would run across the whole length of the gym just to jump on the pile, see who could get up on top. Man, there had to be, I don't know, 15, 20 guys on that pile.
Oh man, because that was like one of the years where, yeah, that was a ton of people. And knowing Ethan, he was probably fighting you to get out from under it. And,
well, if you know anything about being on the bottom of a dog pile, there is no breathing if the person didn't think about you to brace themselves.
And that's why I asked his point of view, because when I was on the bottom of the pile, I didn't feel a thing. And it was because Phil took the whole brunt of it. And he kind of laid over you in a way that you didn't feel any of it, but it did. That's a good answer. I didn't know that. Just to make them feel loved and like they were part of something. That's cool.
We had a chunk of those, dude.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So, how many years were you in the ministry or in being a youth? Were you a youth pastor, right? Or like what we heard from Chris's wife, where she was just what did she call herself, BJ? A coordinator or something like that?
Yeah, she won't take the pastor title, yeah.
Yeah, but you were ordained and a pastor, is that correct, Phil?
No, that's not correct. No.
Okay.
I was just a volunteer.
Okay.
I did it for, I don't know, maybe 25 years. I wasn't always the lead person. I helped a lot, but I tell you what, I'd drive the van around on Wednesdays and then pick up the kids, then do the service, then take them back. And some of the best times was on that van, dude. Uh, we had this one time. I think I told you this story, BJ. There was uh, yeah, we're past 7 years, right?
Yeah, we're past
it's
statute
all safe.
limitations.
It's all safe.
Yeah, we're past statute limitations.
Well, so the van was full, dude. There wasn't. We didn't have very many seat belts, and it was full. And it was on the east side part of town, and there was this one park, and the sprinkling system was sprinkling out in the street, right? And so I saw that going on, and it was hot in the summer, and the windows were down in the van, and so I saw that sprinkler, and then I decided, oh, dude, I'll go around the park again and wait for the sprinkler to start sprinkling into the street and hit it just right so the van goes right when the sprinkler's there. So in the van, everybody, all the kids are carrying on, doing whatever, so they're not paying attention. I get right next to the sprinkler, and they're just the sprinkler, all the water's coming in the windows, and you hear all these kids screaming and carrying on. And so I get past that a little bit, and then I just pulled over and I said, "Get out, run through the water." So they were running. Then we got back in, and everybody stunk. That was a long ride home. Yeah.
Some of these stories, BJ, reminds me of like if my dad and Phil were together, that could be bad news.
Well, here's the thing, Justin. We say this when we move around to different places, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. You know, you go to different places, and it's the same people.
Yeah,
they just have different names and faces.
Yeah.
And so you get the similar personalities, or you get to know somebody, you're like, oh, they remind me of so-and-so. But you're absolutely right. I mean, your dad, Justin, he would have been, you know, that equivalent to some of those kids he taught in Sunday school and such, that, you know, he had that same, well, and your dad has that laugh too, that once you get him going, it's downhill from there.
Yeah.
No.
We'll have to ask so would Phil's going to tell us about his family here in a little bit. We're going to have to ask him which one is his favorite kid. And we'll see what his answer is. I don't know if he listened to that episode. And maybe he says this the exact same thing my dad does, and we'll be like, okay, well, I guess this is long-lost brother maybe. So, but anyways, Phil, tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay, I'm four older sisters. This is just growing up. 4 older sisters, 5 brothers.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
We all get along really well. Great parents. They're both dead, and 2 sisters have passed. But everybody else, we're doing, you know, great family. You can't ask for anybody better. I'm married to my wife, wonderful wife, Barb. We've been married 46 years next month. Have a son, and he's married to a wonderful woman, Bridget, their daughter, Taya, and then I have a daughter, Tessa, or we have a daughter, Tessa. She has 2 girls, Aubrey and Emery, and they're good kids. Good kids.
Do they live locally that you get to see them pretty often?
Yeah, they live locally, almost at least once a week, probably.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
At least they're nearby.
Yeah.
That's always nice.
Sunday it was just the youngest granddaughter, she's 13. So we started to build a little firewood bin, and we were cutting, and she was cutting with the miter saw and nailing with the nailer, and pretty soon I'd do something, she'd be taking the tool out of my hands just like my daughter, and it's kind of like, dude, what are you doing? Let me finish. So it's good. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Good. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, he didn't mention. I think he didn't mention his son's name. His son's name's Josh, and Josh was a great friend and a great companion on many of those trips and different activities we did. Josh was one of those guys that, like I think after we moved away, I came back to 2 or 3 different retreats. I can't remember how many total, but it seemed like every time I came back, Josh and I would be able to. We always made sure when we went to the gym to play basketball, we were on the same team. Josh and I wanted to play on the same team because Josh and I had this chemistry on the basketball court that we just knew what the other person was going to do, and it was a lot of fun to. We knew when he was going to cut, when I was going to cut. We just knew we didn't have to say anything. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But that's kind of what, Morph, that's where Justin and I's friendship from day one. I mean, November, whenever we left Pueblo in November and went to Nebraska, that first day in the middle of November in Nebraska, ice and snow on the ground, and Justin shows up at our door on our first Sunday and says, "Let's go play basketball." And I'm like, "Where's the gym?" "No, we're going outside." I'm like, "What?"
That's how real men do it. I just told that story tonight, to be honest with you. It's such a good story. That we were always talking about the podcast and relationships, and that's the exact same story I just told tonight.
Yeah.
Talking about basketball, I have a question for you, VJ. It was a retreat that you came back with your dad, and we were playing basketball. I don't know if you'll remember this or not, but you were throwing the ball in. Do you remember this? You were throwing the ball in, and we were on opposite teams, and I didn't sense anybody behind me, and all of a sudden you smacked me with the ball right in the face. Do you remember that? And you have this nervous chuckle or laugh or something, and you were laughing, and then your eyes were going left and right, kind of like, which way do I run? and then your face was like, holy crap, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Do you remember that?
Vaguely. I know if I crossed you, I would have been looking for a place to run because there would have been a dog pile coming.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of like, was that an accident or was he doing that just to mess with me?
I figured you were looking.
Yeah.
Well, you figured with you being a youth sponsor, you had eyes in the back of your head. So
yeah, except for that was right in the face. So,
that's true. That's right. Yeah. Maybe you thought your eyes were going the wrong way. Yeah.
So it's cool, these different stories we remember and things we remember. I think one of the things I asked you when we were together last, Phil, was how many of the things that we did that you ended up you got in trouble for later, called into the office, so to speak. And I never would have heard about it because I was still young and my dad didn't involve me in those kind of things. But knowing what I know now, there's a few of those stories that we have from youth group where somehow it had to come back and it was like, Phil, maybe you shouldn't have done this. Do you have any of those that you remember and recall that are? I have like 5 I could bring up, but I don't know if you got in trouble for them or not.
Whoa. No. And I was back to thinking about coming on and talking to you about it and stuff. I feel bad. For kind of the way I was a youth pastor and making it difficult for your dad. He couldn't fire me because I was volunteer and never got hired. But I wasn't the best youth pastor. As I was listening to a couple of other podcasts, you had that Brad guy, I think, wasn't he a youth pastor?
Yeah.
And he's saying all this stuff, what he's doing for, I'm trying to get everything lined out for everybody and the youth group and all this, and I'm thinking, sheesh, man, yeah, that guy's got it together, and he's getting it together for him, and I wasn't that way. And
no, that's not true, man.
No. anyway, that I think to your question, uh, I feel bad that I got him in that position. He never. What I remember, he never said, "Phil, you really jacked up. I wish I could fire you." He never said that. I could think of the one when we picked up that hitchhiker going up to the park.
Yep.
I don't think he was around when I picked up two hookers and with some other guys in the van. And but wait, this was a long time ago. It gave the teenage boys an opportunity to evangelize to them, saying, "Hey, you want to go to church?" And they didn't. But we
I
gave them
thought
a
we were gonna
ride.
have to put a. I thought we were gonna put a disclaimer on there for a second when you
No,
dropped off the
no,
line.
no. See, yeah, I
No,
wasn't
you're
a
good.
bad excuse, pastor. Um,
No,
I don't remember any of the other. There are, yeah.
Well,
I,
and I
I
don't
don't,
go ahead.
I can't remember any of the others. There were times where, yeah, I jacked up,
Well,
but
I shouldn't have used that word because it was an opportunity, and that's what you created were opportunities and memories. And that night, I think the only reason he found out about the hitchhiker is because I was sitting in the front seat and had to sit by him on the way to the event we were going to, and so that was cool because we talked to him the whole way there about about Jesus and about church and where he was at in life. And I mean, I'll never forget it because it was an opportunity to hear this guy's story and what had happened to him. And it was just one of those places where um, God used an opportunity to make a memory to something we'll never forget about, an opportunity to share Jesus. So that was cool. You didn't jack up, and you did prepare us, because here's the thing. Phil talked about he would drive the van, then he would make sure that the night went smooth as possible in youth ministry, and then give the lesson, do all that, and then drive everybody home. But these lessons weren't just your typical little Sunday school little booklet thing. I mean, Phil's an incredible communicator, but on top of that, every Wednesday before service started, we'd be playing basketball and doing everything, and then Phil would disappear. I didn't know about this till after I started getting more involved. Then he'd go off and pray over the night with the other leaders and other people. And when I was invited into that prayer time prior to, he prayed the Holy Spirit down every single Wednesday night because he loved those kids and he loved what we were doing. And you come up with a name and you come up with all these things. We were the Warriors for Christ because of Phil Gonzalez. Painted this incredible mural on the wall of our youth room. And
he's a painter too, huh?
oh, he's artistic,
Just like my dad.
yeah.
I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. So I'll turn it to a little bit of a serious note then on that, since I jacked it up and made you look bad or feel bad.
oh, dude, I knew where you're coming from, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I told Justin this, and we talked about this. So when I graduated from college, I graduated from Colorado Springs at the Bible College there, and when we went out there to visit for graduation, we came down to Pueblo, and we got together with a lot of those same people that were in the youth group back when I was there, and we just had a great time at Chick-fil-A and just talking and reminiscing. And there was probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 of us that gathered, and we were sitting there talking. And I remember talking. Lynette was there, and Lucy, and Tessa, and Josh, and Randy, and seems like there was more that showed up too, but
Probably Lucy.
yeah, Lucy was there, and as we were sitting there, we started talking about all of the people that came out of that youth group in Pueblo that at one point in time or still are serving in full-time ministry. and felt a call to ministry because of what that youth group and the leaders in that youth group fostered an environment for. And that was to connect with Jesus on a personal level. And, when you're dealing with teenagers, that's hard. That's hard. So I just forever, and I told you this, Phil, I'm forever indebted to you for my spiritual journey and for what you've done in my life. And I know I'm not alone in that. There are so many lives that have been changed because of you. That's never going to change.
Yeah. They were good people. They are good people. Still try to keep in contact with, as many as I can. And it's cool to see how the Lord's using them in their lives. And yeah.
Yeah. Good work, man.
Yeah. I when Josh was over here earlier, I asked him, "Hey, what are some funny things you remember about BJ?" and he goes, when we were camping up at Mike's, you were in the back. I don't remember if you remember this, but you were in the back. He was in the front. It was at night, and he threw a rock in the bushes behind you, and he said you came in saying there's a bear out there, and he said your eyes were so huge, man. And I don't remember if you remember that or not.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Phil, I just was telling my kids this the other day, is the one thing that I want, it's like a bucket list for me, is I want to see a bear in the wild. So, and I was telling them this the other day, we were driving out to the coast for 4th of July, and Heidi says, "Wait, I think I just saw 2 things in that field over there that it didn't look like deer or cow." And we get down the road a ways. I said, "What do you think they were?" She goes, "I don't know. They might have been bear." And I'm like, "What?"
You're
I
like,
want to see a bear in the wild.
Let's go backwards.
They wouldn't let me turn around. But
Yeah, well,
I do remember that. But man, Josh, what a goober.
the one thing I can tell you about bears, just don't be the slowest, and you'll be all right.
That's right. Or the shortest sometimes.
Or this.
Yeah. Josh also said that he remembers one time him and some other guy, and you were in the gym over at school, and Josh bet that guy that you could beat that other guy, so Josh and the other guy were in the 8th grade. You were in the 6th grade, and so he said, "Oh, that 6th grader can beat you," and he goes, "No, he can't." So he goes, "Go ahead and shoot for 3-pointers, right?" And the 8th grader shot, he missed. And then he said, "Go ahead and shoot, BJ." And you made it. The first shot, you made the 3-pointer. Then the second shot, you made the 3-pointer. I don't remember if you did 3, but that other guy got pissed off, I think.
Josh was, I remember those middle school days, because Josh had my back in multiple times, and it was never like loud and out front, but I always knew that I could count on Josh, and I appreciated that, especially in gym class when you're a scrawny little 6th grader.
Yeah, he mentioned that he was captain one time, and I think it was the second kid that he picked was you, and you were in some other class or something. And then he says, his buddy said, "Man, what are you doing, man?" And Josh goes, "Don't worry about it, dude. I got it covered. Don't worry about it." And so then he says, "You get the ball and you juke some guy so hard," and Josh is just running behind you, laughing like crazy.
Wow. No, it's interesting how we remember different points in our life and different things that happened. I would have not recalled those. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
some good memories with Josh and Tessa, and just doing so many different things. I was going to talk about the hill. I remember going over to your house one Sunday afternoon, and you lived in that roundhouse.
Uh-huh.
And I think there was a field back behind it or something.
Yeah.
And it had snowed. We lived there 7.5 years, and it did not snow a lot while we were there. And somehow it snowed, and so we wanted to go sledding. and you rigged up your motorcycle to where we put the sled behind the motorcycle, and
Seems safe.
we start zipping through this field. And I remember Josh, it was me and Josh, I think, on the back of this sled one time, and you're driving, and all of a sudden we're coming up, and you turn, and so we're sledding out like it's going out the side, and Josh was like, he doesn't realize there's concrete blocks out here, and so we're trying to dodge these concrete blocks. Yeah, we had some fun times.
Yeah, and we're still alive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we you can tell you stories and things that you remember, and our age, we look back, and now that we have kids and we're telling stories, we're still alive though. We still made it. There are things that we probably shouldn't have survived through, or ended up in jail sometimes.
Or both.
Or both, yeah.
Or both.
Yeah. It was definitely good times, man.
Phil, have you always lived in Colorado or in Pueblo?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised, okay.
Yeah. It works for us. Yeah. I traveled quite a bit before I settled down, and Pueblo still seemed to be the best place.
Okay.
Yeah, it works.
So if it sounds like you did the youth. What did you do for a living prior to? I mean, what did you do on top of the youth stuff that you were involved in? What kind of line of work did you work in?
I was in construction, in the office, 2 different companies throughout my working time.
Yeah.
One was just general contractor. Then I went to concrete work and a general contractor for 30 years after that. So it was all right.
Yeah.
You say office, but didn't you jack up your ankle falling through a roof?
Oh, we're gonna have 2 fall through the roof stories in 2 weeks.
Well, it wasn't the roof. It was a ceiling around 16 feet. I was looking at a job down in Alamosa. I was following some guys. He goes, "Okay, just follow me." I go, "Okay." And it was up in the attic. It was at a college. And then I decided I'll just take a step one direction. And when I did, I fell through acoustical ceiling.
Oh.
And I remember hitting pipes on the way down and thinking, man, when is this going to end? And as soon as I finished thinking that, it ended. and so I land, and some guy comes over and he goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "No, I think I broke my ankle." He goes, "How do you know?" I raised my foot and my ankle was clear on the other side of the leg. Yeah.
Yep.
He goes,
Point the wrong way.
He goes, "Oh." He turned around and called the ambulance or something. But yeah, we still played football while I was in the cast, and basketball.
Yeah, we did. And I remember when you took it off, and I mean, it was so discolored still, and big old, looked like you had 3 different bones sticking out of that thing. That was nasty.
Yeah, pretty weird. Remember, we were playing retreat, and we were playing football, and Dave Kistner, do you remember Dave?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We were up there, and somehow I got an interception, or I got the ball and running, and he started tackling me with some other guys. I go, "Hey, watch out, my foot. And he goes, "Forget your foot, man." Smack me. Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah.
He would use that excuse. There was another time he did something to his hand, and he jammed his ring finger, and his knuckles swelled so bad. And then if you were like, for some reason, when we'd play basketball, I'd always end up guarding him. And so I'm this little scrawny middle school kid guarding Phil, who would just back me down into the post, and I'm trying to tackle him because I can't guard him. And I'd get around him and grab his arm. He's like, hey, hold on, my hand. And then he'd shoot and make a basket and just laugh. And yeah.
those were some good times in that gym, man.
Man, yeah, that little gym that we would just, man, that was, I can't believe we crammed so many guys into that gym.
Yeah.
Was the gym just big enough where the out of bounds for the basketball court was the wall?
Yeah,
Practically, probably.
Oh yeah,
pretty
yep,
much.
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. We'd have
That's-
so many guys in there. It's ridiculous.
yeah. That
Did
was,
you
Also,
ever play? Did you ever play any golf at all with Rod? You got any fun Rod stories? You interact with Rod much back in the day?
well, it wasn't. I'm not much of a golfer. I'm a terrible golfer. Uh, I don't like watching sports. I'd rather play them than watch them.
There you go.
But I don't. I'm not familiar like you guys. You guys know how long they were playing the sport and how good they are and this and that. And it's kind of, dude, that's not me. But anyway, no, I didn't
there's
play much
there's a
with Rod, but
there's a Josh story for you on the golf course. I don't know if you remember us.
There's always a good golf story, no matter what. No matter what group you're with.
It was over.
It was over.
It was over.
The golf was over. So we had a church tournament every year at this course, and for some reason, a couple of the guys that golfed would
Was
sponsor
this
a couple.
walking? No. Was there something called stick?
This was
Oh.
out of town.
Okay.
And Josh and I were there, and I don't know how we got in this cart at the same time after it was over, but Josh was driving around the end zone to take the clubs to the car or something, and comes hauling around there and ends up crashing into somebody, and whole front end gets taken out. And oh my, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Bet your parents were so proud of you.
I thought we were going to jail for that one.
Yeah, I remember that one. No, at the very end, before you guys were leaving, Rod and I were starting to meet during lunchtime and having kind of like devotions and stuff, and it was good. I wish we would have started it sooner, but the last time we had it, we were over and your dad gave me a hug, and it's kind of like, yeah, I love you too, Rod. And I didn't quite understand, and then I can't remember what day it was, but then we had a Wednesday night, and we had kind of like, I don't know. It wasn't necessarily an altar call, but just a time of prayer, and that's when you came to the altar, and I was praying with you, and then I said, "Hey, are you guys leaving?" And yeah, he goes, "Yeah." So I guess I should have known when Rod gave me a hug. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the hardest move. That was the hardest move I ever made. Yeah.
As we were talking about the gym and having all those good times, that was probably the saddest part for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are tough moments of transition.
Yeah, and I was in the kind of like hallway going into the gym. BJ and the family was leaving, and one of the ladies from church goes, "So it's kind of hard on you, huh?" I go, "Yeah, it's kind of like losing a kid."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those.
But in order to have the pain, you have to have the joy. and the joy outweighs the pain.
Yeah.
No comparison.
Yeah, that's true. I was so mad at my dad when he told me he was interviewing in Lincoln, and it was another Wednesday night before that one that you just referenced, and actually I had just finished. I'd preached that Wednesday night, and I'd preached, and it was just a great night. And if I didn't ride on the van after youth group with Phil, a lot of times we were still there when he got back, and I remember we were, again, the last ones to leave that night, and I just preached just on a high from the night, and it was just a good night. And we get in the car to go home, and my dad had just had a phone conversation with Lincoln, and he looked at me as we were driving home, and he said, "Are you ready to move?" And I got so mad. I said, "How dare you? How dare you?" I was selfish. God had to get a hold of my heart. But my dad also, during that transition time, he came to me. I'll never forget this either, in that living room of our house, and I was struggling. I didn't want to go. I was digging my heels in, and he sat me down and he said, "BJ," he goes, "I really want you to spend some time praying about this." And he goes, "I want you to spend a few days praying about this. And if the Lord shows you and tells you that we need to stay for what he's doing in your life here, then we'll stay." And I remember that, and I thought, wow, that's pretty incredible that he would say that. And we went on, so I did. I started praying through and just praying and telling God we weren't leaving, and all the things you try to tell him, right? And we went on a jeeping trip with Hawkins and Huffs, and that I got out on one of our breaks and just got off by myself up in the mountains, and remember sitting there on a rock and looked down. We're above tree line, and I looked down, and there's this little blade of grass sticking out from under a rock, and I remember grabbing that blade of grass and seeing the detail in the leaf of that grass, like just the veins of that blade of grass. And it was like God said to me, if I could allow this blade of grass to grow up here in these rocks, don't you think I can take care of you in Nebraska? And so I went back home and told my dad. I said, "Well, I guess God says we can go." And he already knew that. I know that, but as a 13-year-old kid, that made me feel like I had a say in it. But it was the hardest move. And I told you this when I saw you in Denver not too long ago. I was mad at you that last day. Man, I still struggle with this. I'll tell you this, Justin. You can listen in. Phil can listen into this story again. But our last Sunday in Pueblo, we get ready to leave, and I give Phil a big old hug, and he wouldn't tell me goodbye. And I don't know if he had to run the van or he was just getting out of there, but he took off. He didn't. And I was mad. I was still mad at him for that. Well, he comes to Denver to see me, and I'm telling him this. I'm like, "Man, you never said goodbye to me." And he told me, he goes, "It's always see you later. Mm-hmm. Till next time. Never goodbye." And I told him that in Denver, how mad I was at him. And I gave him a hug in Denver when he was leaving my hotel, and he still didn't tell me goodbye.
I don't think he's ever going to do that, BJ.
Yep.
As you were talking about not wanting to go, and then I'm thinking, well, then the Lord had Justin waiting for you.
Yep.
That's crazy how that worked.
Well, actually, I was on the other phone. I was on the phone with Rod when he was talking. Yeah, I was masterminding that at 16.
Yeah.
it was, that was one of those things that I can't remember if it was you or if it was Bonnie, or it was a combination of both of you. I mean, I still have that Bible you gave me when we went left that day. I still have that Bible you gave me, and your writing in there. I'll never get rid of that thing. But you had given me assurance that God would have somebody on the other side. I was really close to Lynette, and that was a tough thing to leave. And you just assured me there's going to be somebody there that needs you. And sure enough, I was going to say this earlier, and I know we're running out of time, but there were two people that I called that day my sister passed, and it was Phil and it was Justin. And you both reacted the same way. We just sat on the phone and cried. And that's all that was needed was presence. And it's those kind of lifetime friends that you never say goodbye to. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like Phil says, he knew that he had a plan for that transition, and I'm sorry. I mean, I'm happy that we're friends, but some days you probably like, what is this guy doing? What he's saying? No, I'm just joking. But no, trying to bring it lighthearted. You're gonna make me start crying. You don't get me crying on these podcasts very often, or like my wife says. My wife might get jealous because I'm going to cry when she's going. No, but
it's different when men aren't afraid to just bear everything, I guess, and let it all out and be who they are.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Phil, as we wrap up our time here, is there anything on your heart and mind that you want to just get out there and remind people about?
Yeah. as I can't remember. It was Brad again, I think, listening to him, and he was talking and talking about being proud. I'm pretty sure it was, and you were talking about how proud you were of your daughter, and you could hardly, BJ, you could hardly keep the camera from keep it still because you were watching and you were moved. And then he was talking about your daughter, Justin, about being a rock star in the youth group. I'm pretty sure it was that time.
Yeah.
And you didn't say much, but it's kind of like I could sense you being proud by your silence. And so then I was thinking about that, and I was cleaning my truck out a couple of days later, thinking about that, being proud and how you guys were, and thinking that's cool, and I'm proud of my kids, and then I kind of turned it, or the thought came and it turned around, and it's kind of like I can only remember making my dad proud once, that I could tell that he was proud. He had all the other kids that he was proud of, and I made him proud once. I could remember that. And then all of a sudden, I don't know where the thought came from, but it was kind of like, okay, so I wonder how many times I made God proud. It's kind of like, yeah, we go through our Christian walk and we think we're doing okay, but that's what we're supposed to do as Christians. We help people out or do whatever, but then it's kind of like, dude, did you really ever make God proud of you? And it's just a thought that came to me, and I don't think I'll ever have the answer, but it's kind of like him kind of saying, hey, Peter, come over and check this dude out, man. Check and see what Justin's doing today. Dude, I'm proud of him. Or, dude, Matthew and Mark, look what BJ's doing today. That's my son. That's my kid.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him. And I don't know, it's just a thought that came to me, and it's just a thought.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, that's good. That's a great thought. And since you're not going to be able to die, you're probably not going to get that answer, because
Yeah, you're never going to get that answer.
When you do cross over after I do, you are going to get that answer, Phil, and there's no doubt in my mind it will be well done, my good and faithful servant.
Definitely.
We'll see.
Yeah. My uncle used to say, he said, if I'm lucky to make it, and the older I get, the more I think about that. And I think, yeah, if I'm lucky enough to get there, it's going to be a glorious day. It's going to be quite the reunion for sure.
Oh yeah.
But
far beyond we can ever imagine.
that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Well, Phil, I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to know you. I'm proud to be a part of your life in so many ways. And thank you for being Phil Gonzalez, for being you. And I miss you, man. And I'm so thankful for you and Barb and your family and just the influence you've had on my life. I'm forever changed because of Phil Gonzalez, and I'm proud of that.
I love you too, man. It's been a joy, and sometimes I can't even begin to imagine what my life would be without you in it. You've challenged me, you've encouraged me, you've just been Christ to me. Yeah, and I'm thankful for that. There's not a lot of people that I can really say that to. You know what I mean? I interact with them and stuff, but it's not the same. And it's just the Lord working through you, and like I said before, tell your folks thank you for having you, so I can be a part of it. And we're going to have to get together sometime, Justin, just to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm closer. It's only a few hours drive from Lincoln, so.
Yeah, and maybe we can get some other guys and have a dog pile.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being in a dog pile right now. Oh my gosh! Oh, I can't imagine being on a dog pile.
We'd all come out with ankles that look like Phil's.
That would be so funny if all of a sudden I saw his son running across the room, jump on it.
Oh. Can't imagine what our knees would be like either.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Phil, I appreciate you. This has been a joy listening to you guys talk and the influences that you've had on BJ and it's I've heard BJ talk about you, but just being able to hear it from your own voice and let you tell that story and that laugh, man. Like BJ said, it's a joyous laugh. It brings you right in. It makes you feel comfortable right away. So, And somebody else is laughing, and it's not just me half the time. So, so I appreciate your time and coming on with us.
Yeah,
Dude, I don't know. I wonder, would there be an opportunity I could pray for you guys?
absolutely.
Sure. Go ahead.
Our dear Heavenly Father, I just come to you this evening and lift up these two men. I'm so thankful, Lord, that you had a plan for their lives, and that in that plan they would get together. They would be able to share life, both the good and the downs, and come through it stronger. I ask, Lord, that you would be with Justin and his family, and as he's starting a couple weeks now into that new job, that you would just continue to use him and make a difference, and they would be able to get to know Justin as the man he is, and not just a worker, but one that believes in you and has you in him, and that they could sense and see Christ through him. Just watch over his family and lift them up and protect them. Continue to use his daughter to be an influence, Lord. I do thank you and love you. I love BJ, Lord, as you know, and I'm so thankful, Lord, for his life and what a difference it's made in mine. That's crazy, Lord. You have created us to need each other and lift each other up when that is necessary. And for that, I am thankful. I ask, Lord, you would help him to be the husband he needs to be for Heidi. Help him to be the father that he needs for his kids. Help him also, Lord, to be the example of Christ at his work. Struggles come along, but greater are you than is in him and Justin. And for that, we are thankful. Help us and guide us. And we just thank you for your faithfulness, Lord, through it all. In your powerful and precious and wonderful name. Amen.
Man, thank you for that, Phil.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you for joining us. And as we end another great episode and are recalling great memories, and we've laughed, we've cried, and we prayed. I just want to encourage those of you listening to this that if you ever need to reach out, you need help. I say this at the end of our shows now, just keep looking up. But if you need to talk, if you need to reach out, let us know. There's no greater joy than to be able to walk this journey with others. And this episode is pointed to that. You're not alone. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Justin. And we can't wait for what's in store next. So God bless you. Keep looking up and keep trusting in him, the author and finisher of our faith. We'll see you next time.
Yep. See you.